So Iceflake Studios just dropped their 4th dev diary, and honestly, this may be one of the more important things that they've announced since taking over Cities Skylines 2. There's a new benchmark tool coming in the next patch, and it's going to change everything. But seriously, I think this could be a turning point for the game. Let me explain. So in the next patch, planned for the end of April, there's going to be a new benchmark tool. You run it, it stress tests your city, and here's the key part. It collects performance data and it sends it back to Iceflake Studios. So think about what this means. For the first time since the game launched, the developers will know exactly what's happening on your specific hardware configuration. No guessing, just actual data from thousands of players showing which CPU and GPU combinations are failing. And most importantly, they can prioritize which fixes are needed the most urgently. This is how you fix a broken game. You need performance data across different hardware setups, different city sizes, and different mod configurations. Before Iceflake took over, Colossal Order were essentially flying blind. They knew the game had performance problems, but they didn't have the data to know exactly why. And this tool will just allow Iceflake to pinpoint a lot of issues and get them fixed. Let's break down what the dev diary actually says about the problems, starting with GPU performance. So here's something wild. You know when you zoom out to admire your city? Your GPU is rendering triangles that are literally too small to even show up on your screen. We're talking 40% to 60% of triangles being processed and then immediately discarded. Your graphics card is doing a whole bunch of work that you'll never see. That's wasted processing power. Iceflake is fixing this with better level of detail models. So when something is far away, you don't need full detail buildings with every window and texture. You need simplified geometry that looks fine from a distance. They've already started testing this with the Iceflake Arena, showing different load levels side by side. Then there's water. I never thought about this, but water simulation runs on the GPU. Calculating water pressure, flow, and terrain interaction is one of the heaviest parts of the rendering pipeline. On lower-end hardware, it's so resource-intensive that prevents other rendering work from running alongside it. So basically, they're investigating ways to make water play nicely with the rest of the GPU workload. Terrain rendering is another issue. The current system generates geometry for terrain that's not even visible to the camera. In some cases, 65% of submitted terrain geometry gets culled because it's outside the view, and that's absolute madness. Better LODs would catch these before the GPU ever processes them, but GPU is only half the story. Let's talk about CPU, because that's where your mid-sized and larger cities really suffer. Here is the absolutely wild stat from the dev diary. Citizens in this game have been walking 30 kilometers just to go to a store. 30 kilometers? Why? Because the pathfinding system was searching the entire city to find the shortest route. Instead of walking to the corner shop, your citizen was calculating paths across the city for every single trip. Now I understand why my 50,000 population cities were running at 15 frames per second. It's not that the game is poorly optimized, although some of that is true. It's that every single citizen is running calculations that make no sense. They're walking across entire cities for daily errands. Iceflake is looking at reducing pedestrian counts to better reflect city size. They want each citizen to represent more people, which sounds counterintuitive, but would massively help simulation performance in large cities. They're also fixing pathfinding bugs, like citizens or criminals getting stuck in certain buildings, which causes excessive pathfinding spam. They're literally working with Unity's own developers to debug these issues. That's the company that made the engine. Here's another key detail. The dev diary mentions that the game was built to maximize multi-core CPU utilization. The base tech is actually in a good spot. The problem is everywhere else. That actually gives me hope. The foundation is there. It's just a matter of fixing the individual components. This isn't a complete rebuild. It's incremental optimization. Let me step back and explain why I'm actually excited about this. We've heard performance fixes are coming before. We've heard it from Colossal Order, and to be fair, they tried, but this is different. Iceflake is building the infrastructure to properly diagnose and fix performance issues systematically. The benchmark tool isn't just for us, it's for them. It's a data collection engine. Every player who runs it is essentially filling a bug report with attached diagnostics. That's how you prioritize work. That's how you know which fixes have the biggest impact. This is the first time I've seen a plan that addresses performance from multiple angles simultaneously. GPU fixes, CPU fixes, community data collection, and direct Unity collaboration. That's not one fix, that's a whole strategy. Here's the timeline. The benchmark tool is planned for the end of April patch. The lot improvements are coming. Pathfinding fixes are coming. Water simulation optimization is coming. This is how you fix a game. Not with one patch that claims to fix everything, but with a continuous stream of improvements backed by actual data. For 2 years, Cities Skylines 2 has been known as the gorgeous city builder that runs like garbage. That was the trade-off we accepted. Beautiful, but broken. But this is the first time I've genuinely seen a path forward. Not just promises, but an actual strategy with data collection to prove what's working. So with that being said, I feel like it's time for me to give Cities Skylines 2 another chance. Starting off with the launch of a new season of my Let's Play series, Down Under. The first episode is out already, and in this season I'll be creating a touristy tropical town. At this stage, I'll be releasing new episodes every few weeks. If you want to keep up to date, you can follow me on Instagram or X. This is actually a good time to be a Cities Skylines player. The future is finally starting to look up.